Joni, I'm here at our favorite place, the Balboa Bay Club and Resort in Newport Beach, to experience a genuine Escoffier dinner, the ultimate in fine wine, food, and cigars. The Les Amis des Escoffiers Society is a non-profit fraternity of true epicures and connoisseurs, but as you can see, it's for men only, which is a shame. Viewing all these amazing gastronomical delights is one thing, but to taste them, that's another.
But I actually joined Les Amis d'Escoffier in 1983 when I took over the Ritz-Carlton in Boston, which was a hub of fine food and fine wine. The first chapter was in New York. Started at the Waldorf Astoria in 1933. Boston came shortly thereafter. But then you have chapters in Washington and obviously California, Hawaii, and various other places. So let me just say that it becomes increasingly difficult to put on an Escoffier dinner because the lack of talent of good chefs. Now, some chefs are going to get very upset when they hear that. But let me tell you something. Chefs who can cook Escoffier are very few. Mark my words. And tonight you're going to try some of the finest cooking. Classic French cuisine. When I moved to California in 1986 to take over the Ritz-Carlton in Laguna, I started this chapter. We've been in business now for 20 years, and we have, as you can tell, we have a very viable chapter, and we have some excellent food, and we have some great chefs, and we pride ourselves to have the best dinners in the neighborhood. Our dinners and our wines are superior to anything else that's around.
Yeah, the first dish we have filled eggs with, I actually have a little surprise inside. I have a cauliflower flan on the bottom. Then I have eggs which are scrambled with truffle, and also a horseradish whipped cream and caviar. So I think it's served with a crostini, of course, so you can eat it. I don't serve it. Caviar is usually served with blinzes, but I think the crostini, the crunchiness, and the caviar and the eggs, it's just a perfect match. I think that's going to be a very, very nice dish.
Auguste Escoffier was the king of chefs and the chef of kings. Auguste Escoffier was without doubt the premier chef in the world. He was recognized all over the world as the man. His cookbook, which was published at the turn of the century, has 3,000 recipes of his. The man was a genius, absolute genius. Ritz and Escoffier were the first franchises. They allowed hotels to use their name, and so they were way ahead of anybody else in those things. They were just a fantastic team.
That's my husband, John Wortman, and he's the man of honor tonight. Maybe he'll sneak something home for me in his pocket.
As the book says, when you open the book, it says, this book is not for amateurs. This book is for people who are professionals, because cooking in those days was a lot more difficult than it is today. Today, cooking is very simplified. It's heavily broiler orientated, sauteed, pan frying. Very few things have anything going as far as sauces is concerned. And that's the real secret of fine cooking. When I started this business 60 years ago, the highest paid cooks were the ones who made the sauces, besides the chef, obviously. The saucier, as they called him, chef saucier, was the one who made the sauces, which made a meal. If you have the best piece of meat, if you don't have the right sauce with it, it just doesn't have it. And so consequently, the sauciers were the kings of the cooks. They made the big bucks, you know, because in those days, you had chef entremetier who did nothing but vegetable. You had a chef soupier who did nothing but soups. You had a chef rôtisseur who did nothing but the meats. The saucier who did nothing but sauces. And it went down the line. Everybody specialized like doctors do today. You know, every time you're sick, you go to 15 different specialists. That's what they did. They categorized everything into specialists. And the cuisine was out of this world.
California crottin. Crottin is classic French goat cheese, and it's a goat brie. It's very unique. Has a brie on the outside, has a center like a California goat cheese. It's served warm. We serve it with caramelized apples, frisee, and roasted hazelnuts. And I make a little bit confit of strawberries and fresh figs. I think that's a nice classic, what we do in Europe after dinner. You just sit back and have a little cheese course.
My whole background is food and beverage, all right? So I've been 60 years in this business, and my food and beverage is my love. That's what all right? Hotel business is much more than food and beverage, but I have never seen a good hotel without good food and beverage. You gotta have good restaurants, you gotta have good bars, you gotta have good food, service, and all that goes with it. And here at the Balboa Bay Club, we're very proud of our restaurants. We have good food, we have great service, we have wonderful ambience in our restaurants and our bars. The entertainment is classic jazz, none of the nonsense what's going on today. So we're very traditional. So we fit right in with Escoffier, because Escoffier is definitely traditional. Quality, classic, good cooking.
Now you've witnessed something few ever see. Who knows, maybe next year, Joni, you and I will be invited. Until then, this is Ann Wortman reminding you to eat, drink, and be merry. Back to you, Joni.